We just had the coldest summer in Toronto real estate in over 20 years. Let's break down what that looked like for detached, semi-detached, townhouses, and condos for the city of Toronto, and what that looks like moving forward into the fall market. I'm Michael Ouzas. I'm a realtor here in the city of Toronto. If you want to book in a call to discuss what's been happening on the ground level in Toronto real estate, and it's been changing week by week here into September, you can click on that first link in the description down below. First up, we have the Greater Toronto Area market stats. What we've noticed year over year, prices down just under 1%. So relatively flat, but this is an important number here, 4.55 months of inventory. And if you've been watching this channel, you know that the months of inventory is a super important indicator of where the market is. This has also been driven by condos, and this is Greater Toronto Area wide. Over 50% more active listings than a year ago today, and total of sales down 5% from last year, which is significant when you have almost 50% more listings. Same story here in Toronto, except average price actually went up 2.3% compared to August of 2023. That being said, active listings up just over 45% and number of sales down over 9% compared to last year. So not a huge absorption rate here in the city of Toronto. We're at 5 months of inventory across the board, which is one of the highest numbers we have seen in over 20 years, even compared to what happened in 2020 through 2022. Taking a look at this monthly sales data, I know it's a lot of data, which we'll break down individually one by one, but we're seeing average price down from July, about 25 to 30,000, give or take. However, prices are down only a few thousand from where they were in August of 2023. This is super notable because last year, if you take a look, August 2023 compared to September 2023, there was about a $40,000 jump in price, and that continued into October, but then slowed down again November, December, and into January. Number of sales are down from August 2023 and July of 2024, which again, when we discussed, this was a slow July as well. And going into last year, if we look at how sales definitely declined going into the winter, that's an interesting thing to take note of as we move forward here into the fall market. One notable number that we've been watching this months of inventory, as just discussed, has been increasing throughout the year, and now we're at the highest for 2024, even surpassing basically the entire year of last year as well. When it comes to interest rates, we won't be predicting where things may be heading as we get into another rate announcement in October. However, one thing that can be talked about is how the fixed rates have also been coming down in line with the variable rates. What that means is buyers will now start to get pre-approved at lower rates than they have in basically 2 years. If buyers continue to get lower interest rates, that may play a factor into pricing moving forward, as their buying power will continue to increase as the rates do come down. I found this chart super interesting to see where things were at the peak of February 2022 versus where things are now. And kind of across the board, we're around the late 2021 when it comes to pricing. We saw things ebb and flow throughout, but the same remains to be true, is that apartments, townhouses, semi-detached properties, and detached properties continuing with the echelon and keeping relatively steady throughout in their incremental price increases for each type of property. Now let's take a look at what each type of property has been doing, because it does matter in the city of Toronto. It also matters which pocket you're searching in. Active listings in the detached market for the city of Toronto is at the lowest number we've seen in a few months. Same thing goes with the number of sales. We're seeing months of inventory at 3.7, which is the active listings divided by the number of sales. One thing that does stand out is that prices did go up July over August, but we're still not nearly where we were back in April of 2024. In fact, I'd argue if you did have a great detached property, chances are if you were on the market going into the summer, you may have pulled that property off the market to come back live here in the fall. And we've definitely been seeing better inventory in the first week and a half of September so far. As we're looking at the semi-detached market, this has been the hottest market in the city of Toronto, with months of inventory at super low numbers all throughout the year. This has been climbing steadily over the last few months, but we have seen prices come down as well from where things were in April of 2024. That being said, now we are in the fall market, and we've been seeing some semi-detached properties start to move, especially in the mid $1 million mark. So anything kind of in that $1 to $1.5 million mark seems to be still pretty active here in the city of Toronto, especially when it comes to nicely renovated semi-detached properties in great areas. As we jump into the row houses and townhouses, this is the lowest amount of active listings across the board, just under 259 sales, bringing us to a months of inventory of 3.3. Pricing has definitely decreased from where things were in May, June, July. And as we've discussed kind of month over month, we did see a huge pop from April through May. And that could be just that better townhouses were selling during those months. But at 1.1, townhouses for a freehold townhome in a great location are still relatively well priced compared to semis and detached properties. Taking a look at condos, and this is the one that is really really standing out lately as we have seen an incredible amount of inventory here for condos in the city of Toronto. If we're looking at the Toronto Central CO1 and CO8, we are seeing months of inventory well above 7 for those two markets, which is putting us into a buyer's market. Across the city of Toronto, same kind of story. We're at just over 6 months of inventory, which is in line with June and July of this year. Definitely a big jump from April of 2024. We are seeing prices start to decrease here in the condo market, and generally that happens when the properties are not getting absorbed super quickly and sellers do want to sell. There are a good amount of choice when it comes to condos. So if you are interested in purchasing a condo and getting into the market here in the city of Toronto with a great location and a great condo that maybe a couple years ago would have been tough to attain with a great layout and a great location, these properties are available at great pricing compared to where things were back at the peak of 2022. I did want to pull up CO1, which is west of Yonge Street, east of basically Dufferin, south of Bloor, down to the water. 1,452 active listings, just under 200 sales. That's bringing us to almost 7.5 months of inventory, which is the highest we have seen all year, basically ever when it comes to condos. This is super significant, but a lot of these condos are either vacant or tenanted, which does tell me that they are most likely investor units here on the market. That's something super considerable to see as we move forward here into the fall and going into the new year of 2025. 7.37 months of inventory, definitely a buyer's market when it comes to condos. Here's our takeaways from August of 2024. The condo market still remains very slow. Plenty of opportunities for buyers out there if you are looking to get into the market. Mortgage rates are down on both the fixed and variable side. Time will tell what these rates will do as we move forward from a pricing standpoint. They're definitely the best rates we have seen in about 2 years of time. The increase in inventory provides more options for prospective buyers who have been waiting on the sidelines. If you are a buyer that has been waiting for some great inventory to come up, we have seen some really nice properties come up in the month of September that just didn't get to the market in the summertime, and definitely a big improvement on the quality of properties that have come into the market in the last 2 weeks or so. Months of inventory, as we discussed, across the board, it is up. So if you are a buyer looking to get into the market, these types of months of inventory, as we surpass 2, 3, and 6 for condos, definitely provide more choice and make a difference when it comes to when you go out shopping, having more options to choose from. Those are stats for the coldest summer months in 20 years. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment down below on what you think is going to happen in the fall market, which we've already started here in the month of September. I'm Michael Ouzas. Thanks for watching.